This club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0.
Can you believe it?
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we are bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Ooh, sir, how you doing? How you doing? It is our end of the season survey. Just breaking down all the feedback we got from you wonderful fans.
And transfer Muppetry as well.
We cannot forget that. There. We had no updates there, unfortunately. No real traction in the transfer market, but Premier League is back, sir. There was football all weekend, and United is back next weekend. How you feeling?
Look, I'm glad to have football back. You know, given the sort of COVID times here, we need some distraction, and football is great. Fantasy football started up as well. Already did terrible because I have no Liverpool players on my team. So, you know, that's just the way it is. I'm waiting for United to play, for me to come on strong.
Whatever excuses do you need to justify your poor performance in fantasy, you use that. Because, you know, that is your right to explain away that bad juju. But either way, we do have a fantasy league. We are the American Red Devils. And what are we talking about to start with, sir?
I think we got to tip our hat to Aston Villa pipping us in the training session, but we're talking about practice, so I'm not that concerned. What do you make of the game, sir? You watched it. You got the tactical breakdown. United, Villa, Van de Beek features. What do you think?
You know, it was a preseason game, so nothing much to write into it. You don't want to take away too much, but good opportunity for them to get some playing time. 11 was kind of cobbled together, you know, who was available, but it was good to see Van de Beek. Good to see Fosu Mensah actually slotting in at CB, which I thought he played pretty well at. And some of the midfielders, what's his name? Galbraith, you know, the young Northern Ireland guy, he got a chance to feature. Nice sleeve tattoo. So it was good. You got to see some of the youth. Menji showed up for like the last 30 minutes, that young center back that Ole's been talking about a lot recently. And you got to see those wonderful zebra kits in action. They didn't go full zebra. They did do the black shorts, which they had been, you know, hedging around. But I don't know. People are hot on them now. I think it helped. Apparently, if you lose the 1-0 to Aston Villa, that makes you like the kid a little bit more. But I'm not sold yet.
All right, going through the starting lineup for Aston Villa. I got Aston Villa's lineup. Here's United's lineup. We had Dino Henderson in net for Manchester United coming out the blocks. Maguire fighting around the world at center back. Fosu Mensah playing center back with him. Doyle on the right. Luke, the impossible meat pie. Shaw on the left. We had the Van de Beek, McTominay midfield 2. Rashford playing number 10. That's interesting. I like that nod to Rashford. Dan James on the left. Gallo up top and Lingard on the right. Lots of subs, like you mentioned. Ole featured a lot of youth products for Manchester United. You love to see it. Again, it's just practice. What do you make of Van de Beek?
No, I mean, we haven't hid our feelings about the signing. I'm excited by him. I think he's the right type of signing to make at this time. Features all over the park. He played well. He looked like because they kind of moved things around throughout the game. He was playing in a 2 with McTominay at one point, and he looked pretty comfortable. He just makes those vertical passes really well, cuts between the lines, and he also just he knows where to be. He seems to have really good spatial awareness. So he looks a player, and also I was excited to see Fosu Mensah. He played pretty well at center back, tidy job. Delo was okay, but actually Shaw looked fit and firing. The impossible meat pie is back. So if he can keep up his form, not get injured, that's why we probably got to bring in another left back. But he looked very threatening, so it was good to see him linking up on the left as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a big step up against Crystal Palace coming up at the weekend. I think Ole, last time we saw these preseason friendlies before COVID, he was pretty coy with his starting 11. He kind of knows behind the scenes who's going to feature. We saw Mason Greenwood come back to training as well, Paul Pogba. So, everyone's just going to take a while for United to get up to speed. So we can't be judging the squad too harsh. Either way, you got to be beating Crystal Palace. I don't care who's in the starting 11.
Palace started with a win. They beat Southampton, I think 1-0. But you're right. It's just it's all going to be about cobbling together those victories early on, even when you're not in the best of form, right? Because the boys are going to be a little tired. They'll have a little bit of a hangover from the last season just finishing a couple weeks ago, it feels like. But it's all about getting those results early because we got 2 early games that are winnable. We got to win them, and then October gets much more difficult.
All right, sir. Jump in a quick PSA for the podcast before we get into the transfer Muppetry. Our Crystal Palace preview is going to come out this Tuesday or Wednesday. Alex and I will upload that as soon as we get it. Also, check out the blog. Alex is doing a great job there, along with our fan contributors, americanreddevils.com. Our new scarf is being printed as we speak. The 2021 American Red Devils scarf, the greatest of English football. We won it all. It features all the trophies Manchester United has won, aside from the Community Shield, because we debate whether that's actually a trophy. Drop a review on iTunes. We're giving away stickers if you want to go help us there. Organic reviews go a long way for us getting found on iTunes. Big platform, 5 stars. You take a screenshot, send it to americanreddevils@gmail.com. We will get you a sticker, maybe a pin if you're lucky. Subscribe on YouTube, sir. No ads here at American Red Devils. We just speak our minds here. We don't have any influences, no corporate sponsors or anything other than us. You want to support us? It goes a long way. Really, we're just two fans on the couch.
The only bias is our bias. And
yeah.
Speaking of which, iTunes reviews go a long way. We finally hit 300 reviews. So thank you to everyone who does write reviews. And like John mentioned, we are still sending out stickers. So if you email us at americanreddevils@gmail.com, we'll hook you up. But what do we got? We got United in the news, sir. We got some transfer news to break down.
Sir, you never go full zebra.
Never.
And I'm glad even in the preseason friendly, we didn't go full zebra. So as long as United keep it half zebra, I'm going to be okay with it. Jumping in, United in the news. We got transfer news here. Jadon Sancho leading the line. Deal in doubt. Manchester United begin to look at alternatives per the Telegraph and the Mail. A lot of rags in England. We talked about the breakthrough with the agent's fees. I don't really think that was a breakthrough. Tried to get some momentum in the press, and it's gone. So what we're seeing with Jadon Sancho is United, through every PR venue they have, they're like, Dortmund, please lower the fee. That's why you see in the press like these articles like Manchester United not willing to pay 108 million pounds. That's like Ed Woodward literally having people write articles to communicate to Dortmund through the press that they're not going to pay that valuation. For some reason, this is the strategy we go with, hoping that all this pressure will make them lower the fee. And they're just like, hey, we got him for 3 years. He's Jadon Sancho. Pay us. I think 108 is fair. Probably without COVID, it's probably 150.
Easy. In
all honesty, he's one of the biggest young stars in Europe outside Mbappe. If you're really honest, I mean, so he's not quite that Mbappe 200 plus, maybe the 125.
But he's about 50. He's worth more than an Mbella. He's worth more than Coutinho.
Of course, he
so
is.
He does.
Yeah.
108, I think, is a deal. And
actually, it is, yeah.
Sir. This feels like, do we know Ed Woodward? This feels like the Woodward special, right? As soon as you're getting kind of close, then you act like, oh, we're looking elsewhere. Which means United's about to pull like top bucket. We're about to play full price because that's what we always do if the deal goes through. Because, I'm not super confident. Finances are rocky. There's a lot of positioning, but every deal, whether it's Bruno, Maguire, AWB, they've always kind of had this point in the transfer where it's positioned where we're looking elsewhere. Price is too high. Looking at alternatives.
Well, I mean, we'll get to the alternatives here in a second. But I'm not going to. We don't need talking alternatives is just absolutely a joke. Essentially, when it comes to Jadon Sancho, I think fans, you're kind of playing a little FIFA here. You're playing FIFA team or manager mode a little bit. United need another center back. We probably need left back cover. Those two positions would do us much better than thinking about Jadon Sancho. Clearly, as a fan, I want him. I want the jersey. I want the big signing. Everyone freaking out, getting pumped. I want, like, Chelsea might say that's Kai Havertz to them, but you want that kind of momentum. We've seen those signs in the past. They really haven't come off for United, so we need to do smart business. Smart business is addressing the defense. We have the goals in attack. I think we can really rely on what we got. It's not good. It's not necessarily title winning, but 2 or 3, the second or third position, I think, is what we could do with what we got up front. And then you kind of build from there. I think the Sancho signing is investing too much in that kind of, you're buying a nice car, sir, like a Ferrari or something.
You're buying top tier.
You need a few Buicks in the back.
We do. We need some units. We need some size. I mean, Stan Chow and I talked about this last pod, and that's really, you splunk it all on like the top of the tier, the jewel that you want in the international market, or do you buy a bunch of some Van de Beeks, a Deo, you cobble together some young players, center back, left back, maybe another midfielder, maybe a striker, But I think the thing that's pushing United, it is the marketability of Sancho, right? It's getting your new number 7. They're like trying to get some momentum as they start negotiating for new kit deals, right? Because they're like Chevy's coming to an expiration. So I think having a big signing helps with that. It's also like you don't want to lose them. If you don't get them now, it's going to be much more difficult to get them next year.
You got Mason Greenwood. You got Mason Greenwood though.
I agree, but
you got Mason Greenwood.
You
though.
need more than Mason Greenwood. You need
got
4
Mason
or 5
Greenwood.
strong. Tell me more about Mason Greenwood.
You got Mason.
I
Greenwood
know we got Mason Greenwood. I love Mason.
You got Mason Greenwood with a point to prove.
He does. He's got a couple points. He's got a couple points. We'll talk about that in a second.
I like that little chip on the
He's
shoulder.
going to have an edge.
You know?
But also, we talked about with Stan, you need to have a Best, a Charlton, and a Law. You can't just have a Greenwood. I mean, I know we got Martial, and we got Pogba, and we got Bruno, and we got Donny, but we also need Sancho because the best teams just keep adding strength. And I get it. I get what you're saying. But I think Ole's saying, I got some young defenders that are willing and ready to step up. I think he trusts in Menji. He trusts in Fosu Mensah, Antoine Zabi. This is the signing he wants.
Point taken. Ole wants Sancho. That's clear. Ole has gone to Woodward and said, if I can get one player this window, it's Jadon Sancho. That is why Ed Woodward's trying so hard to sign him. It's totally clear. But at this point with Manchester United, I think you need to be playing small ball. I think you need to really look at the team. You need that backup. You need pace on the left when Shaw goes down because he has injury record and that affected Rashford. If you're going to play the front 3 the way we did at the end of last season, definitely need a left back. You definitely need a center back. We haven't sorted our defense. Plus, we have a lot of injuries there as well. We got Deadwood there. We got Chris Smalling, Jones. I think the business right now, we need to be selling and then getting those replacements in so we can strengthen this team. And you need to be doing that now. Sancho can be done on October 5th. Sancho can be done the last minute of the window. But a defender and a left back, that needs to be done before we kick off. We need those players. It's going to be a long season, tons of fixtures, sir. It's going to come to kill us. It's not going to be our front 3. I think that's going to let us down.
Making a lot of good points. I mean, you are, but at the same time, it's like
you want Jadon Sancho.
I can't argue with the fact that we should be getting deals done right now. Like a competent club would be selling some of this Deadwood, and we're certainly not. Even the Deadwood, it's like already to low. Ole doesn't rate him, can't really do the job defensively. There should be demand to get rid of a player of that type in this market, even still. And we can't even seem to move anybody, even Smalling, right? He had a good season in Roma. I feel like we're beating those dead horses because that's all we do at United is the same storyline. And it's true. It's like we got to be getting the sales done. I know he might seem to rate Jesse at this point. He did feature yesterday, but you got to sell the Joneses. You got to sell the Rojos.
Yeah, I couldn't agree.
We're not even getting the Sancho in, but we're not even getting the Wood out, so we can like make room for academy guys to make their way up.
And I understand as a fan of Manchester United, we want Sancho and we want Koulibaly and we want like the big name players, and we deserve the big name players. But given what's going on with the club financially, there's only a certain amount of dry powder. So that's why I'm saying, hey, do you spend all that dry powder on Jadon Sancho over the next 3 years, or do you kind of play small ball, try to plug some holes? Clearly, Ole's swinging for the fences. I think where the league is headed and where the playing style of the Premier League is headed is like goal. It's just going to be everyone's going to have terrible defense. Everyone's going to be stretched. Like if you look at some of the scores from the opening weekend, this is just all out attack. It was all out defend when Mourinho was the king. Now it's all out attack, and things are kind of changing there. So I do agree. We do need to score a lot of goals, and that's assuming that Martial can stay healthy and Rashford can stay healthy, and they both have had injuries as well. So I there's arguments both ways. We wish we had it all, sir.
We do. And of course, I wish we could do Ed Woodward 350, like we've been talking about since this pod started.
Yep.
But that ain't happening. That ain't happening. And at the end of the day, I kind of want to keep trusting in Ole. Like, I like what he's doing, and the fact that he's like, you know what? We could do small ball. And I see it that way totally, where that would make sense. But at the end of the day, he wants to get Jadon Sancho for a reason.
You got to get him, yeah.
He's prioritizing him. And dude, that price is a good price. If we could do 108 million pounds over 3 years, that is a great deal.
Of course, but I think the funny thing is always like when you're a kid and you're asking for a birthday present from your parents, you don't ask for like the small ball present.
No,
you ask for the number. You ask for the N64 and all the games, and then they give you like maybe 2.
One game, yeah.
So I get where Ole's got that Santa Claus strategy. I totally hear you, Ole. Let's talk about the replacements. The press is talking about Ivan Perisic out of Bayern. Gareth Bale, Real Madrid, Douglas Costa. Douglas Costa has been a lot of injuries. He's getting older.
The whole list.
Gareth Bale, a lot of injuries, getting older. Perisic did look good for Bayern Munich. Probably should have signed him on Mourinho a few years ago. We did not. Of all those three, who would you most want at Old Trafford? You have to say you get one of those instead of Sancho. Who do you take?
I only get one of those. I mean, I imagine you're playing small ball if you're going for one of those, but I would take Perisic because you know what? He was just in a Champions League final, wasn't he?
He was. I got to take Gareth Bale.
Bale's
I like
always
Bale.
injured.
I
He's
like
always
him.
injured. His wages are sky high.
Sir, he has a point to prove.
He does have
he
a
has
point to prove.
point to
He feels
prove.
like the most likely one.
Gareth Bale.
He feels like if we're going to get a signing, it would be Bale. If we lose on Sancho, we're totally signing Gareth Bale, and you're getting that 0. A 7, baby. That new number 7.
I know.
That new number 7. Gareth Bale.
I know. You don't need to gloat.
Sir, enjoy
Well,
it.
think about it. Like when you look at James Rodriguez going to Everton, he slotted in today, looked pretty good.
They look real good.
And the whole point is like, who wants to take a punt on this guy? Real Madrid didn't play him. Something's wrong with him. What's going on? It's like, is it worth why don't we take a punt on James in our midfield? Because he looks pretty good. So I do agree that it has a high likelihood of failing, but you take a punt on Gareth Bale on it, he might just turn into a worldly. You only need to sign him for like a year deal or something like that. Do something cheap. Real Madrid need to get rid of him. He has a point to prove. I think you got to be taking flyers on these all-stars that have somehow fell out with Zinedine Zidane.
I mean, if you could get like an Inter deal, like the Inter deal they got for Sanchez, then yes. Like when they basically pay you to take the player off their books.
I don't think they do that.
Because he's such a bad personality. He's like so bad for the dressing room that we literally will pay you millions to take our player off our hands.
Bale's a good guy.
They hate him though now.
No, Real Madrid hates him, but I do like Bale.
Well, he could like mentor Dan James. I do like the fact that he's got something to prove. But I don't think you can get it for cheap, and I don't think he's willing to come on cheap wages.
Sir, watch some of his goals he scored for Tottenham.
I know he's just scored bangers,
it's
but also
unbelievable.
can you see?
And plus, he scored like an overhead kick in the Champions League final. I mean, he's done it all. He gets no respect. Obviously, made a class. If you asked me a year ago, I would have said I'm crazy for this take. But given how desperate we are in the window, I'm like, I take Bale. I take him.
It feels like a Woodward transfer. I mean, he would definitely do that.
Like, can't do Sancho, so you do some scrappy deal for Gareth Bale, and then,
Loan
and then 2 years later, you're like, that was terrible.
Just like Cantwell.
Next article from Fabrizio Romano, latest on Thiago deal. Feels like they're being used by Bayern to force the Scousers to pay up. That's what United think at the moment. Quote from Fabrizio, this is exactly how Bayern feel. Man United spoke with his agents. Liverpool still feeling the favorite to sign Thiago because of Klopp pushing. There's no official bid yet. Waiting for the last transfer days to get a lower fee of the 30 million euro price tag. It's cheeky here, trying to get Thiago from Bayern Munich. He's not bad. We were linked to him before. Spanish international. I think he's always going to Liverpool here. Again, like you said, I think we're being used to have the Scousers pay up.
No, I just want to talk about it because his name's been in the press with our name attached to it so often, and really, I feel like
not really. Only from you.
No,
like
this
you
summer,
look for Thiago. You rate Thiago. You bring Thiago news every article I've seen.
I don't make the transfer news up. I am pulling from the interweb.
Sir, I'm just telling you that every article I see, I talk to you and you're like, Thiago's coming to United, and I look online, it's like he's going to Liverpool.
No,
so,
I'm not sure.
The guy.
I'm not sure I ever said that he's coming to United, but he always seems to use United for his gains, and that seems to be the same story now. Right? Is he's always being propped and positioned for Liverpool. The wages are basically the issue. He wants sky high wages. I never saw him come to United anyway. Right? If we got Van de Beek, do we need a Thiago?
No, we don't. I don't want Thiago, sir.
Tribe has spoken,
dude. He could have come. He didn't. I'm good. If you don't want to be at United, don't come. That's my attitude. I used to dream that like Ronaldo would come back or things like that. You don't want to come, don't come. We don't need players who don't want to be playing for Manchester United. And unfortunately, I think Sancho does. And that's one point that we didn't talk about. If Sancho decides to go like Odell Beckham, hold out, on a deal, like he could force through a deal. If he really wants to go, he could force through a deal. And so I think the next stage now is it's in Jadon Sancho's hands. He's got to kind of be a little Jersey to force a move. But United are willing to pay quite a bit of cash, and he wants it, and Ole wants him to come. So it's really in Sancho's hands to like sit out. I think there's a cup game, German cup game tomorrow. If Sancho isn't included, that might be like everyone might be freaking out on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing that's still waiting to be had is United have to submit an official bid, right? I don't think he's like, from what I've read of it, he can't really start like, pushing for a move at the Dortmund head office until there's an actual submitted official bid, and then he's like, and we're still waiting to be had. And I think The rumor is coming this week. We'll see. It's going to be low ball. It's going to be less than they asked for. But the real question is he going to cause enough of a stir at Dortmund that they want to get rid of the personality?
You still think they're faxing those bits?
I doubt it.
All right, next bit of news here. This is one that we don't really want to wade into too much, but Mason Greenwood sorry after laughing gas footage emerges, sir. I think these are called, the kids call them whippets. Per 442, English press, all this stuff. So Greenwood kind of been thrown in the mud here on the laughing gas stuff. We've seen this with so many footballers throughout the, basically Mason Greenwood was having a fun time in Manchester and not really worried about COVID-19. That's all I get from this. And the press he's 18. You got it. When you're judging somebody like this, you're like, yes, he is a Manchester United footballer, but imagine having all that pressure on your shoulders and being 18. It's almost like you wouldn't know what to do. Honestly, your brain, what was I doing at 18? I don't even remember.
I mean, the real thing that we're seeing here, and the reason that I put it in the agenda is because they are starting a smear campaign on our boy Mason Greenwood. He is the new Raheem Sterling that like the Sun like to go after nonsense. You could tell, man, this is an old video, an old photo of him doing laughing gas from like 2 years ago, and they do this, and this is a thing. So we got to protect our boy because Mason Greenwood is a good kid. He's a kid, and people have to remember that. At the end of the day, he's a kid, and you could tell he's a good lad, and I think this is going to just drive him to be even harder and just want to do even more and accomplish more. So,
well, do the photos of Jack Grealish passed down the street because he's so hammered make him less of a baller on a Saturday?
I still want to sign him. He looked good yesterday. He looked good playing against us. Like, I'd still sign him.
The phones are killing these guys.
I know.
It's like, I can't, first of all, do I think Mason Greenwood should be doing this? Like, no. Like I would hope that if I was, could be like a legendary number 9 for Manchester United, I wouldn't be involved. But clearly he's young. You got to make mistakes. It's how these mistakes don't define him. It's how he reacts to it. And like you said, there is a smear campaign in the press. They've done it before, like with Raheem Sterling. Even though I don't rate him, I could definitely say it's like the English press. They're pretty vicious, and they kind of get vendettas, and they kind of go at people like pretty, like I say Jersey, but it's very English press. I don't know.
They pick a name, right? They pick the player, and they like keep going after him, like. Rooney, he did some stuff, but they were happy to like throw Rooney under the bus.
The COVID hose in Iceland, that was a bad move. That's a bad move.
But you know what? Like it happens.
I'm going to protect the guy, but at the same time, you did it. I mean, it's not like.
But he's a kid, and we have to remember that. And it's like they're going to keep thinking of things to throw him under the bus for. And at the end of the day, it's about like you said, it's how he reacts to this, and hopefully he's going to learn from his ways and be like, all right, I got to act a little bit more mature because you know what? I'm not a normal 18-year-old. I'm a superstar in the making, and I need to act, a little bit above my age. So we get it, but just don't do any more kind of. We need less videos to be coming out of Mason Greenwood.
No, I totally agree. But how logistically does that happen? Like, don't the English team have security? Like, wouldn't you think like these 2 chicks from Iceland would just be able to wander up to their hotel?
Yeah,
you think there'd be people?
You're in Iceland.
I think you're like these are like very famous international footballers. Like you'd have security, and they'd be like, "Who are you? You can't come in because it's COVID quarantine here."
Well, like I don't know. I've like found that like
they climb up the walls.
Beautiful women have an ability to like change time and space. So maybe they just found a way to get
so
the
it's
security.
Like a Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, maybe they're like, "Hey."
Okay. That's enough of that. So let's quickly look at the scores from this past weekend. Arsenal with the 3-0 rout of Fulham. Boy, Arsenal think they're good, and they beat Fulham.
They're very excited.
Crystal Palace pipped Southampton 1-0. Liverpool edged out Leeds 4-3. We obviously hate Leeds way more than we hate Liverpool. This is kind of the stinker derby. The only thing you got to say, since Liverpool were the champions last season, you'd like to see them falter. Amazing they got bailed out here. Two pens. And it's just like, it was classic Liverpool last year.
Yep.
They played like shit. They didn't deserve the win, and they pipped it. It reminds me of old United. It's just one of those where it just, a little salt there just because they don't deserve to win, and they still win so consistently. And it's like, man, it's like, it's tough to take. They were outplayed.
No, they were. And I think they're going to have a tough time. I mean, I don't think they're going to have it like they had it last year, but they're getting those pens. I know everyone's squawking about United getting pens, but I feel like Liverpool's pens are generally far more egregious.
But Leeds lost, which is good. I mean, that's good.
It's a toilet bowl cup. It's
we want
both teams to lose.
If they drew, that'd be great. Something like that. Newcastle 2, West Ham 0, Leicester 3, West Brom 0, and then Tottenham got beat up by Everton. This one was one of those where I think the Tottenham Podspur, the podcast you've been on, the Tottenham fans, they tweeted out like, "What do you think of the game?" And I said, "Hey, enjoy Jose Mourinho." That's one of those where it's like Mourinho's already messed that team up. You can see it.
Have you watched that show? Have you watched?
No, I watched maybe like one highlight on YouTube, but I haven't watched
It's worth it because it's funny because all the football clubs handle bringing a TV crew in differently. Like some of them allow you to show the dressing room between the halves, right? Some of you allowed to show like them eating breakfast and meals and stuff, and some don't, right? Like the Leeds one doesn't, but the Spurs one does, and allows you to see everything. And what you learn is that like Daniel Levy is the biggest chump. Like Ed Woodward's a chump, but Levy is like such a chump moron because he looks like an idiot, and the fact that he exposed himself that much makes him look like an idiot. But I'm going on a tangent. The real thing is that like I think he's already toast. Like they basically brought him in to win something. Finally, they haven't won a trophy since 2008. And they might win like an FA Cup, a League Cup, but it'll combust just like everything else.
No, absolutely, and
you can tell like Jose's a lunatic. I mean, he's got like when he bottles it, it seems that it works, gets people excited, but like you could tell how hard he is on these players, and like you could see how he would fall out with Pogba and Martial and etc. because he's not everybody's cup of tea.
No, I know, absolutely not. And behind the scenes in football, I've been watching the Leeds. I watched some of the Leeds United one, which obviously hate Leeds, but that came out before Spurs. It's just interesting to see the role of the director of football, and I'd like to see it like that behind the scenes from Ed Woodward. Apparently, United are coming out with some content. Obviously, like they're a little late to the party here, given City has already done it, but they're not going to show the dressing room. They're not going to show Ed Woodward. I just don't. I think that you need to be a little more transparency. It's 2020, so the club needs to be a little more transparent in how they run things. Ed Woodward just sits up in the box, makes terrible calls, doesn't have to answer for him, and it's almost like he has immunity in his job. And you compare that to like the NFL, and you look at New York Giants, for example. I'm a big fan. Dave Gettleman is the GM, right? Ed Woodward is technically the director of football. He's a general manager of the footballing operations at Manchester United. Gettleman has had. He's been since 2018. Everyone wants him fired. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows why he's done a bad job, and they want him fired. And it's a very public-facing position. He has to do interviews with the press. And the way the football operations in England, it's almost like the director of football is kind of protected.
No, the manager is that
fans,
guy.
Yeah, but the fan. So it's like Ole has to answer for how Ed Woodward's doing his job. Woodward doesn't have to say a word. It's all done behind the scenes, and it's almost like whoever's running footballing operations should have to be public. Should have to be public. They should have to answer the press. They should have to answer the fans, because otherwise we're kind of lost generally as a club.
Yeah, I mean, I think Woodward's a dope, but he's not that dumb to put himself on TV and like show what he's doing to kind of handicap the club. That's the thing. By not putting himself on TV, you kind of like keep that curtain up, and I think that's intentional. So you can still continue to monetize the club, but not expose his deficiencies in just running Manchester United the way it should be run.
All right, I think that covers all the Muppetry, sir. We've been a lot of hot banter today, so we're in rare form. We're going to jump into the American Red Devils end of season survey results for the podcast. Again, thank you to everyone who filled out the survey. We had over 250 people give us feedback for the podcast. We've already learned a lot about what you guys like, what you don't like, and what we're going to try to do going forward. We pulled out the best answers we could, some funny, some a little slating, but we had to have a laugh. So we actually haven't gone through this too much in detail, so we're going to be kind of taken as is. So you want to take the first question of the survey?
Absolutely. First one is, how did you hear about the podcast? Number one response with almost half of the responders is iTunes, followed by Twitter, and then third place is Spotify. So those reviews, they matter. We appreciate anyone who does write those reviews, because keep them coming, because it sounds like almost half of the people that listen and found out through iTunes.
Yeah, it's really easy. You can tap 5 stars. You don't even have to write anything, but if you write a little review, it goes a long way to help us being found. I mean, most people who listen to this pod or small-time operation do find us via iTunes. Question 2, how long have you been listening to the podcast? Number one response was over 1 year, basically 4 to 12 months and 1 year. So anyone who's listening for more than 1 year, we really appreciate you. We 17% were 2 years, sir. Those are been since the beginning.
Hardcore.
And then we have some 17% from 0 to 3 months. So a good mix there. People listening to us more than a year. Some people just joining, but we appreciate everyone who listens and downloads to the pod.
We do, because everyone does their part. Whether it's you're new to the pod or you're a longtime listener, we just appreciate all the support we get.
Number 3, how often do you listen to the podcast? The number 1 response, don't miss an episode, sir. I like that one. Number 4, how much of each podcast do you listen to? Number 1 response was 84%, the whole episode. You like the hot banter. Number 5, how long you been a fan of Manchester United? This one, we have some fans on this pod who have been fans of Manchester United for more than 10 years. That's 60% of the people listening. And obviously, under 3 years is probably about 8%, 3 to 5, 12%. So we have some new fans as well as some old fans. Like a great mix of fans. Everything we've done on this podcast, you guys have been great, giving us feedback. And we really feel the love. A great community and a great mixture of fans.
Totally. And it's nice to have people that are a little bit newer to the club, maybe a little bit newer to the sport. You know, people that have been through all the glory years, and some of us that just showed up halfway through the glory years. But it's just a great club, and all, you know, even the decay that we've gone through over the last 7 years, it's been exciting, and it's been a fun time. It's always a great time to be a Manchester United fan.
Next question here. We had this multiple choice. Please select your favorite podcast segments. Number 1, sir, coming in was the match recaps. We got the audio this year with the soundboard. We're going to add more features as well, but you know, we love recapping every single match. We do that very consistently. And then the next was United in the News. Another fan favorite with 178 likes, and then match previews. So basically, that's where our bread is buttered, recapping matches, breaking down new matches, and then kind of whatever's out there in the news and the rags. We kind of cover that. Also the fan questions. People don't really rate the odds, the bookies as much here on the survey. The reason why we've been including that is more of a perspective of what people think. So we say, hey, I think United's going to win 2-1, but, you know, Vegas says...
What's the smart money say?
Yeah, and so I'm happy to explain the odds a little better when I talk about them to maybe make it more clear, but it's not... We are rarely gambling on Manchester United, but who's the favorite to win the FA Cup?
Right.
We're number 3. Wow, that seems like that's a little off. Like, why is Tottenham ahead? That's kind of how I try to use that to unbias my perspective, would just kind of see what the bookies think.
And one of the good things about doing this end of the season survey is you get a little bit into our mad minds, you know, why we do a certain thing, because, you know, one of the things I tried to do when taking some of the results we found from the survey is that you get a bit of both. You get people that feel very strongly about one way, and then you get a lot of people that feel very strongly the opposite way. So it's hard for the middle ground because you're trying to make fans happy, but, you know, we know that everybody has a slightly different take on what they like to see and what they don't.
No, you gotta tread lightly, sir. Please the masses. Next question: are there any segments you'd like to see featured on the podcast that currently aren't? Sir, first response: everything is great. Maybe try pronouncing player names a little better. Other than that, you guys are great. We got this comment a lot. This is probably, of all the comments we get, I know the second comment, it was we say sir too much. That's the next biggest one. This one is, we are really trying our best. I think we have trouble speaking English sometimes here on the pod, if I'm really going to be honest with you. But also to say, like, a great example is like James. To say James Rodriguez technically isn't wrong, but it's James Rodriguez. Some people want to say James. Some people want to say... Then you have other ones where I'm like completely wrong. Like I said Piera for a long time, but it's really Pereira. Like that's my bad.
Bottle it.
Van de Beek, I've heard is Van de Beek.
Van de Beek.
It's like Van de Beek. But I'm also not Dutch, so I just see it's like a beak, you know, like a duck has a beak, like, you know.
And we're like two guys from Jersey, so you have to give us a little bit of like.
No, but I actually think if you really think that we've missed one, the best thing to do
Pereira.
is
We
tweet
fixed that
us.
one. We tried.
No, if you really think we missed one, just at USC Red Devils on Twitter. Tell us how to say it, and I usually see that, and we can correct it. Because United, the other team's players were no way, you know.
Yeah, we're trying our best.
Like this guy with Aubameyang.
Yeah, Aubameyang.
Aubameyang.
Yeah, even then. Well, here's the thing to remember. Also, okay, we're going to go on a tangent, but there's also a certain level of fact that pronunciation is subjective, right? Because like in England, they pronounce paella. They like mispronounce it based on the way it's spelled versus the way it's actually said in Spain. So it's all just like potato, you know, I have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, whatever we do, we own it, you know. So, like, you know, if you want to say we're wrong, we're not going to be like, no, we're right. We're going to be like, we're wrong. Next comment here on the segments that people like to see. Maybe try getting fans' voices on the pod, either way by voicemail message or have them call in, which is the least difficult of the two. Y'all could have something like a winner and they call in and enjoy you for a few minutes on the pod. the whole calling in thing, we've tried to get people to send in voicemails. The main issue is that the consistency is like some weeks we'll get them, some weeks we won't. So it's been hard that way. And then the live phone in is very difficult because we're producing the pod in sort of one shot. So we kind of hit the record button and then we go. And it's just me and Alex. So we're mixing the audio, we're reading the agenda, or even playing other audio from match recaps. And then the idea of like trying to call someone during it too. The reason why we did that is because basically since we had kids, like we can't edit the pod. Like we can't sit down and listen to it for an hour and a half or an hour every time and edit it and cut it up and mix it all in. So we do it in kind of one straight shot. So that's why we can't have people live. If you guys want to, if there's ever a match and you want to record a voice recording, email it to americanreddevils@gmail.com. If it has good banter, if it's funny, we will play it. Absolutely. So we definitely want to get people on the pod. We want perspectives on the pod. That is what this is for fans by fans. We want it to be like that.
And the responses I pulled are just like, because there are a lot of good stuff that we just unfortunately just don't have bandwidth to do, right? Like more on the academy, more on the history. It just, there's a lot that we wish we could cover.
No, we got to be we're trying to incorporate more academy on americanreddevils.com. We definitely need to be like, there's talk about Hannibal. He came as that last name. I'm going to
Muppetry.
Yeah, exactly.
Pod never sleeps.
We definitely got to be sharper on the academy. That's something that we haven't been on. And so all these things are very valid, and I think we're going to try to bring them in, but keep our existing format too.
Totally. There's a lot of room to expand. It's really this is all about that core product, baby. What's that? Our American Red Devils podcast, once or twice a week. So I like the last bullet. Read that one out, sir.
Someone requested a weekly Glazer insult segment, just 5 minutes of calling Ed Woodward names. That make me feel better. So Ed Woodward, scum of the earth, sir. What do you got?
They just like know nothing, do nothing. He's
numpty.
He's no good at his job.
Absolutely numpty. Yeah. I like that one, numpty. Next survey question here. Please rate the audio quality. A majority rated it a 10. Only one person rated it a 1. So everyone who wasn't a troll rated it higher than a 7. Again, we're also not experts there, and we are doing the best we can mixing it. So if it's too loud or anything, tweet us. We're always trying to get better at that, but it seems like we're doing that's like a B job, I would rate there. Next, we said we're looking to improve our website. What would you like to see us include below? People asked for Academy updates was number 1. So we got to be sharper on the Academy. That's something that we're going to be, that's one of those things that we're going to do next season. Absolutely on the website. Manchester United songs, number 2. We already have a song section, but we need to beef that out. That is in process. Glazer financial updates. I'm working on that one. My next article will be on the share structures of Class A, Class B shares, how the Glazers have completely made this club so that they can just take money out of it. And then Manchester United history. We do have a new Manchester United history tab at americanreddevils.com. Absolutely love this one. This is like my pet project. I love reading about history, 100 plus years of very rich history at Manchester United. Every fan should get smarter about it because it's awesome. This period is one of those periods where it's like kind of rough, but you don't know. Maybe we have a title coming this season, sir. So, history is yet to be written.
It is. And that's the amazing thing about this club because, when people don't expect us to show up, all of a sudden it's United's year. So I'm not saying it's going to be this year, but this is a condensed season. It's going to be very unusual. A lot of games. You never know.
People also asked for a fantasy league. I think we came good on that. A few fans requested in the survey. We've already got our fantasy league. It is live. We have more than 100 people in it, which is insane. Moving on to the next question, how the age. We have a pretty healthy mix here. 19 to 29, 44.3%, sir. Healthy millennial population. 30 to 39, that's 38%. And then plus 40 is 13.3%, sir. So, 19 to 40, that's where we're at. I mean, I think that's, if you really think of the generation of like, who's really a fan of soccer, this is, it's coming up. It's the third most popular sport under the age of 30 right now in the United States. It's growing. Manchester United, best club in the world. Fan base is growing. Makes sense that would look that way.
We got a good mix of younger folk, older, we're not young, we're not quite old, but we're right in the middle. And it's just a nice mix of everybody. That's what
we're old. We're old. I think we're old. Next question. Do you live in the United States? 88% says yes. We really appreciate the fans in the United States. You guys absolutely kill it. We love the fan base. It's awesome. And our international fans like Iceland, Scandinavia,
Ireland.
Norway as well. Ever since Ole come in, Norway's been big. We appreciate, and also the UK. So we appreciate everyone who listens. But apparently, people out United States, they want the free jersey. I mean, they're smart.
We're cornering the free jersey market, so you got to be all over that.
Okay, merchandise. This question was pretty big. We have a lot of work to do on the merchandise side. We are getting the new scarves in. That's a priority. The Glazers Out scarves are almost sold out, so we got some more of those. We need T-shirts. You guys said T-shirts, number one. We have a new designer, Jamal, who's going to be helping us design some shirts. We're going to do hats, mugs, everything as well. Everything on this list we'll be doing. It's just going to take more time. We wanted to get it done before the beginning of the season, but with COVID and the fires, everything going on here, it's just delayed everything. The whole season's kind of been a mess. So we'll probably be getting some merch, awesome American Red Devils merch in stock probably towards the end of the year, just because it takes a lot of time. We ordered 100 mugs. Like we could tell you a story. Like
tell the story.
Behind the scenes is like we want to get mugs, right? Because every American fan wakes up, has coffee.
Right.
You might have, Irish coffee, but at the end of the day, you wake up in the morning, have a cup of Joe, watch Manchester United. We want to get these awesome mugs, sir. We posted them on Twitter. We wanted the black mug with the great logo. We ordered it from, I think, custommugs.com. They came and they were terrible. They're like absolutely terrible. We can't sell you guys bad products. So we had to like ship 3 boxes of mugs back to Florida, like at our hit financially. And so we can try another company because we're not going to sell bad product. That's my number one thing is like, if you buy from us, it will be good quality because at the end of the day, you cannot be selling like a bad mug with like basically a poor sticker on it. At the end of the day, we have to be, if you're going to buy something from us, you have to know it's quality and we have to be proud of it. Right. So we're doing all that work. It takes a long time to figure out vendors and all that stuff because the quality that you can imagine you get stuff online these days, it could range.
Yeah, we're quality control over here. We got the highest standards, and that's honestly what's been slowing us down more than anything. It's not for lack of trying, so we just appreciate everybody's patience.
Yeah, like the hoodies, we had to send them back. They had to be reprinted. I have an eye for this stuff, sir. You got 3 boxes of mugs. Your wife's like, "What's going on?" Then you got to send them back. It's like we're doing everything we can. It's taking longer because it's just us two. Next question here. Of the following new content ideas, what would you like to see done in the future? People said number 1 was podcast dedicated to Manchester United history. This is something that we are definitely going to do. We're going to try to fit it into international breaks. This fixture list is coming fast and furious, so we'll probably start covering Manchester United's history going all the way back. We're going to do it in segments where we might drop a 20 to 30 minute pod about one particular piece of Manchester United's history. And then we could also put that up on our website. So that is something that we're going to be doing. We just need to kind of figure out the schedule, which is in process. Live match commentary. This is something that we thought about doing. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have the technical setup to be able to deliver the quality that you guys would want to broadcast live on YouTube because the computer that we have is not up to snuff. This is something that we want to be doing for big matches. I think would make the most sense. Would be doing live broadcast commentary. So it's more of a technical issue that we need to solve. And then the next one is U.S. men's national team takeover pods. Our good friend Mike at RWB Starting 11 on Twitter. He's going to be coming on World Cup qualifying next year for United States. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be a great. This is one for the Americans who listen to the podcast, but we're going to be covering that as well.
Can't wait.
So you're not a fan of U.S. soccer?
I'm a fan of Manchester United, first and foremost. And I know one thing, we don't have enough Yanks. So, there's a lot of great youth Americans making a mark all around it. And, the U.S. had a very good weekend for young talent in Europe. I like to see more of it.
So the fans said they want to hear a U.S.
And we'll give the fans exactly what they want, sir.
You're like, you don't want to hear a U.S. soccer podcast?
That was also divisive. If you go into the commentary, that was also divisive. People want just pure United. Some people do like a little bit of both. It's not for everybody, sir. We got international.
It's once every 4 years.
If we make it. If we make it.
I think it would be more of like we would do maybe 3 of them, right? Because the games are played in groups, so you do like a preview and then like maybe a recap. It also works with the schedule because the international breaks we're not gonna have pods. So I think this has been requested. I mean, over half the people requested this, so I think
we're gonna give them what they want.
We're gonna fit it in. I'm planning on fitting in it, and if you guys hate it, tweet us on Twitter to say boo. Never do that again.
Yeah, boo earns.
I think we gotta put ourselves out there a little bit with the pod. 15, should we make a new intro? Overwhelmingly, no. Everyone loves the intro. We appreciate you. I don't know if I can add something else to my plate. Edit a new intro.
It's good. I don't like it. Why would you change it?
All right. Getting into the real meat. What do you like most about the pod? Quote, the banter. house just a couple fans in a closet. That's pretty much what it is. I bet you people have bigger closets than we have in pod bunker. So it's pretty cramped.
It definitely is. I'm going to keep going. More of it banter. By fans, for fans. Also like the match previews and the recaps. Also like how the pod never sleeps. So the feedback that was actually in like the open questions was amazing. So it's actually a shame we got so many that we can only kind of pull out some of the the ones that really caught our eye. The intro is a banger. You guys are great. Love your analysis given for every game.
Real down-to-earth content. There's laughter and rambling. There's probably too much laughter and too much rambling. But,
a lot of rambling.
We do have a lot of fun doing it. And, I think we're trying to be as authentic as possible. Sometimes we forget we're talking in front of a mic. Quote, it doesn't feel scripted and you both are honest about your views on the games and players. Quote, you both speak about how I feel. I listen to other pods about soccer and they come across as not caring, but I really enjoy that you both feel how I feel through the ups and downs of the season. Yeah, I mean, we're feeling those highs and we're feeling those lows, sir. I'll tell you, like not winning Europa League. What do you mean? Sir, how you doing? How you doing? There you go. You got a catchphrase.
I love it. You guys, yeah, another quote. You guys seem like two normal guys like me, which makes me feel closer to the club somehow. You interact with supporters and even retweeted one of my tweets at the podcast before. So love that. Need that interaction and love the passion, your friendship with one another. I like the moment when you guys disagree on something about a player or a manager, a lot of that. As long as you keep being genuine and authentic, you will be all right. I like that. I like that about our fans. They do tell us like it is. And we tend to do that as well. We try to just be straight at the hip. That's why we can't have ads. It's like, ain't nobody giving us advertising money because that way they're going to have an opinion about what we say. And I don't want that. What's the point?
Well, no, I mean, we both have day jobs. We do this out of the... Sir, we would talk for hours about Manchester United. The pod is almost just a way. It's like, it's like we say it sometimes it's like therapy. It's like talking out a match, talking about how you feel about the team. We'd be having this same conversation, arguing. It probably would be longer. That'd be the pod actually saves us time. The pod probably saves us time. And then whenever the wives are around, we start talking about Manchester United. They say save it for the pod. 17. What do you like least about the podcast? Here we go. Oh no. I don't get why you say sir all the time. I'm going to pass this one over to you, sir. Why do we say sir all the time?
Just if people want to know, because people think there's like an era of maybe it's not genuine. Maybe it's something that we just kind of like popped on because we want to be pseudo British. I don't know. But basically, it's like my dad went to school in the South, wasn't from the South. And everybody used to call each other sir, like as like an act of respect. And I think him and his buddy picked it up and they would just do it and always call each other sir. And we just kind of picked it up as well. So it's really a banter thing. It's like when you're not around the Y's, you're like, sir, 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 sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, like we go way back till we're
high school,
16, 17 years old. Your dad went on vacation with your dad. He's like, sir, 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 sir. And then we just like started saying it. It became a thing. The wives don't like it either. It's hard not to say it. It has nothing to do with being British. Although we do say like lads, we do say different slang from Britain, but to me it's authentic. We've been talking that way so long. I think it's just one of those things where you respect some of the banter in England. You pick up what you like, you leave what you don't like. I don't mind chips. Like chips those are fries, brother.
Lift,
like lads,
elevator. It's called
lads
elevator.
Is great. Like have a go, lads. Like I like that. It's like that's something you pick it up, you like it. It has nothing to do with trying to be nothing.
Well, we've explained it. Here's some good ones as well. Hearing the word Chelsea.
That's a great one.
That's true. Mispronounced player names. We talked about that. Anytime the word Liverpool is said.
That's good. That's good.
That is good. A lot of the news I read on Twitter contradicts what you guys say. That's going to happen. Hate to be that guy, but so much Telemundo. It's great for the occasional golazo, though.
I can explain this one. So I usually run the audio on the computer, and then when we're doing it remote, Alex is in charge, and then Alex just teed up like 5 back-to-back Golazo goals, and I didn't know until we were like live recording the pod.
It was the Brighton game.
So yeah, you can't have. I would say you need
one.
Respect the Telemundo calls, but you really should only do 1. 2 if it's like
2
we beat
Golazos.
City,
yeah.
Like that. I could see doing 2 if you're just like really having to go. But, I'm going to say 1.
Well, I mean, we took that to heart. So we actually have been doing, we scaling back to Telemundo.
The F-bombs, it makes it hard to listen near my kid. That is valid. Right now, my wife is currently making me pay money into a jar when I curse because I curse so much. And my son is not old enough to know what it is, but he will be soon. So we are collectively working on the cursing. That being said, sometimes you just gotta, like, if you're feeling that frustrated about Ed Woodward, it comes naturally.
And we got advice to the we literally, I'm going to go into it in a second. We go to our individual advice to curse more. So it's hard because some people want a certain thing and some people.
Well, here's the thing: that number one, we are going to be authentic, whether that's good, whether that's bad. Now, clearly, like you can say "sir" too much on a pod. I totally agree. We have. There's a lot of things that we need to take for granted, but for me, my focus is to just not pull any punches, almost pretend like I don't have a microphone in front of my mouth. So if I curse, it's just me being authentic, and it'd be hard for me to scrub it completely from my mind for the pod. That's the argument there.
Scrub that cursing, sir.
So we're gonna try, but no promises on the F-bombs.
Yeah, no, I say the same thing to my wife. And last thing that they like the least about the pod is that apparently we jinxed the Sancho transfer.
That was you. I remember that. Yeah.
I jinx a lot of things, so it still might happen.
Yeah, like you got Lukaku jersey. Yeah.
Well, he scored 29 goals. He scored 29 goals that year.
You got the Rashford jersey,
and he was a leading goal scorer by one.
Sir,
he wasn't.
You just have to. First step is.
Sir, you know how many bad jerseys you got? You know how many bad jerseys you got? Let's go to your specific feedback for John.
Hold on.
You pulled my mic away. That's a new jersey move.
First step is you got to admit you have a cursed jersey problem. So you got to admit
I stopped buying jerseys. I stopped buying jerseys. I couldn't even buy my kid a Rashford jersey. I had to buy him
The funny thing is you stopped and then you kept going.
No, I stopped. When did I keep going?
Said you're going to stop.
I'm going to buy you a zebra bale jersey. That's what I'm going to buy. Okay, do your feedback. I pulled these for you.
Any specific feedback for John? That would be myself. Keep up the good work. Continue pushing for the Glazers to get out. I will do everything I can. I like covering that. Trying to look at the financials. They're dropping their financials again. I'll be going through that. Yankees suck. Go Red Sox. How dare you, sir? What are you putting that in? No, sir. Loving the work. More honest debate with Alex on disagreements would be enjoyable. What does he mean? I'm pretty on. I'm like, sorry, do I pull any punches?
Be more honest.
I could be nice to you on the pod.
That was a comment.
Loving the not saying the names of the bastards down the M62. Absolutely.
People respect that.
Curse more often. LOL. It's hilarious when you're honest. Keep the sirs coming and break the jersey curses. I agree on all those. That's good feedback.
I'm telling you. And here's my feedback. I'm Alex. One of the things was also they don't always know who's who.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting feedback from you guys. I had no idea. Keep up the good work. The more mention of Liverpool on the pod, everything else is good. People do not like that. Quote, this guy secretly loves Liverpool. Cut back on the sirs. Giants suck. Go Pats. I like the banter.
That has to be from a friend.
Maybe. Keep the sirs coming. Lose weight. That might be from you. You get a bit loud compared to your counterpart at times. This is true. I am loud. I've always been loud. Middle of big family. You just turned me up or turned yourself down?
I just turned you up.
Which isn't bad, but it's enough when sometimes I need to turn you down only to turn John back up. Love the passion, though.
Yeah, that's the audio side, and it's hard to mix it while we're doing it. We try that. We're going to get better.
I'm also
Everything
loud.
We gotta get
I'm
better.
also loud.
Yeah, you go like, you talk really up on the mic, you go soft, and then you scream.
This is like therapy today.
He gets excited.
Okay, another quote. A fellow Ginger, even though I'm not from Gingers, love skulls. Sir Roy Keane from County Cork, Ireland is my man. Appreciate it. Funny guy. Keep chirping, sir. And they get confused on who's who. Know your voices when I'm listening, but I can't pull them from the memory. And last but not least, keep doing what you're doing. It's working. The ARD podcast is growing every week. Thank you, everybody. I mean, the fan feedback, guys, unbelievable.
And that was negative feedback. I felt like you guys kind of pulled. I'm going to say they pulled some punches there because I was expecting a way.
Well, I didn't put all the mean stuff in.
There were. I looked through it. I was surprised. I thought it'd be like way more cutting. But again, we appreciate all the feedback, good or bad. We're just trying to get better. Question 20: would you be willing to subscribe for Patreon for $5 a month? 57% said no, 42% said yes. Again, Patreon is a pretty interesting platform. We're never going to put our content behind a paywall. I think this question was misinterpreted. We'd always just have our pod free. And then if you listen every week or you really enjoy it, you could subscribe to our Patreon. You could pay us $5 a month. We would give you, a scarf or a mug. That's originally what the mugs are for, but we don't have them ready to go yet because there was a debacle. So the idea is that we want to continue to be independent, and the best way to do that is for us to either sell merchandise or to grow our Patreon page. I think we could do both. I think some people would prefer to be on Patreon, get some benefits there. You can probably get a coupon at our store, etc. We're going to revamp our tiers and then get those ready to go. Or you can buy some merchandise at our store, which, like we said, we're building out. But again, we do not make any money on this podcast. This podcast loses money. We are an LLC. We are a business, but we're trying to make money, and we need to basically offset our expenses. That is something that we have a goal towards doing, and we want to be honest with you guys about it. I'm happy to talk more about that if that's interesting to you guys. But we do invest quite a bit of money into doing this pod, and again, I don't think that means that we deserve a pat on the back or anything. But I just want to, for us, we need to be able to offset our expenses doing it, because it does cost a bit of cash to run.
That being said, join Patreon. We appreciate all our Patreon members, and there are perks that only Patreon members get. But we're never going to put a wall up between people and our content.
No,
That's
never.
Just
never.
Completely antithetical to what we do and what the American Red Devils are all about. So I hope you didn't scare anybody with this question, sir.
No, not at all. And also, to clarify, the losing money thing only has to do with the wives being in favor of us.
They're not listening.
continuing.
Don't worry.
It's like the wives be like,
When are you going to make money on this thing?
how much money do you invest in the pod this year? Well,
Don't
babe,
worry about
these
it.
T-shirts are great. This Bruno shirt is amazing.
The next 100 bucks will be better.
The next $100 we order will be good. So, but we're also learning as we're going. So, part of that is we do need to invest for the future. And again, whether it's Patreon or whether we build out our online store, tell us what you prefer. I mean, honestly, we're just trying to find a middle ground so we can continue to run this and people, the fans can benefit from it. But again, in no way are we for profit trying to grow. This is our full-time job. We just need to be able to tell the wives we're not losing that much money where you need to actually be worried about it.
You can't travel to Manchester anymore. Yeah, we can't have that happen.
20B follow-up. If you answered no, why? Everyone said the podcast should be free. They would rather have ads, etc. I just don't like ads. I'm not going to pitch you guys anything. I think you hear that on all pods. It ruins it for me. We'd rather do, hey, buy a hat, buy a shirt, or you can sign up on Patreon. I think we'll have both available, and we'll figure it out from there. Sir, we talked about social media platforms, and number one platform people interact is on Twitter, then Instagram, Facebook, and then actually Instagram, our website, and Facebook. I thought that was interesting. And 22, what is the likelihood you recommend this fellow podcast to a friend for MP? This is basically a net promoter score. So overwhelmingly, everyone said a 10. They would recommend this pod to somebody else. And if you haven't and you know another United fan, please send it their way. That is the number one thing you can do to add value.
Absolutely. Other than writing a review, it's telling a friend who's, an American Red Devil like you, or just a Red Devil living around the world. We appreciate all our fans because they're the best, and we like the feedback. This is like a special, intimate pod. Once a year, we go through with all the hardcores and talk about likes, dislikes, and that's kind of the opposite of Woodward. It's 100% transparency.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think about running a business, how do you want it? It's why do we do this pod? Who benefits from this pod? What do they want? Are we in touch with, what people like? And I think that this is so helpful every year. We'll do it every single season, do the jersey giveaway. We got the feedback. And also we want to open the lid, be like, well, why do you say, sir? Well, this is why. Or why do you guys think about starting a Patreon page? Well, there's actually quite I would never have thought there could have been a lot of cost to running a podcast, but then part of it is that there are. And then, so we're learning, and we want to share that process with you guys as well, because at the end of the day, we all benefit from it. For fans, by fans, from American Red Devils. We're open book, unlike Manchester United, who's going to take those dividends.
Class A, baby. Class A, Class B.
Class A,
Class
they
B.
do it they do it pretty shitty. All right, that is it for the survey. You have any questions, or we didn't answer anything, or you're curious, tweet us on Twitter. That's the best way to get in touch with us. You can email us, americanreddevils@gmail.com. If you think we're pronouncing something wrong, or you think we're doing something wrong, call us out. We are totally open to the feedback. I'm asking for it,
Hit me again.
Well, it's good.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time to fill out the survey. Honestly, it goes such a long way to making us make a better product. All right, fan question, sir. More hot banter from the fans. I feel like we've been taking it all day here at Man United DYL on Twitter. Are we seriously going to sign anyone else? I would say yes. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say yes. I think they're going to go all out for Sancho, and if we get him in a structured deal, that's great. And if they don't, back to the small ball.
At Jandrew_T, quote, Martial FIFA rating. I personally think he's elite, better than Rashford by a mile, but am I wrong? These FIFA ratings came out, and one of the things about, we don't even talk about FIFA, but Jordan Henderson was better than Pogba?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like NBC is making the rating. It's like you have to give up. At a certain point, you literally have to give up with FIFA because you're just like I understand everyone. I understand the likability of Jordan Henderson. Not me. I fucking hate Jordan Henderson. There's an F-bomb for you. Because that's just coming out. It's coming from a deep place. I hate Jordan Henderson.
I hate about him.
Just because everyone likes him doesn't mean he's better than he is.
So
he's an average footballer.
He was like an 87 on FIFA or something. And also, Pogba got knocked, I'm sure, in FIFA. But who gives a shit?
Dude, even Lukaku tweeted at FIFA. Lukaku's rating went down.
And he scored like 30 goals.
It's like...
He had like his best haul.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't matter. Because you know what? I don't know. Last year's FIFA sucked. It was the worst gameplay in a long time. This rating thing, I saw that. I saw Martial was below Rashford. Martial is a better striker, probably. I think we'd all agree at the moment that he's probably a better player. He's older. He has more experience. So don't worry about FIFA.
FIFA is, I'll tell you, that game has been a big part of my life since, I want to say,
Since the early days.
Like, honestly, part of the reason why we got into United was FIFA back in the day. It was such a fun game. It was arcade. I mean, dude, we're talking like FIFA 2006.
99, man. Remember 99?
We played in high school. We played like 03, 02. We were playing 2002. And that was fun. But now it's like, I actually thought about it yesterday, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to buy the next version of FIFA. Like, what's the point? You see these ratings come out. It's just it's junk. The game is not good. It's like they reward defense and not attacking in a video game. It's supposed to be fun. I think the whole idea of the whole pro gaming circuit is like, that is like in its own right good, but games should be fun at their core. You should have fun playing a game, and you don't have fun playing that FIFA.
I'll tell you what, with the old lineup pre-Bruno, there was nobody having fun with that Man United lineup. Like losing Lukaku, Pogba was injured. I think now they signed Sancho. I'll buy FIFA. That'll get me buying FIFA.
Yeah.
Get some speed up front.
This guy's buying FIFA. All right, at United_Glory with 2 Ys. Quote, where do you realistically see us finishing with the current squad, sir? Where do you think we can finish with the current squad?
I mean, third. I think third is... I think we still have the third best squad. Even with all Chelsea's additions, I still think we're a better team than Chelsea. So I think third.
I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4th. I don't know who will be third. I can't say it will be Chelsea or us. I don't think I'm not worried about Chelsea, but realistically, we're 4th this year. We bought Van de Beek, and we're probably going to be 4th if we don't really make any material additions. And I think the later we wait to add, the longer we'll see the impact. And, I could go on. And then where do you see us finishing if we sign Sancho and a left back?
Maybe second. I think we make a run for the title, but we fall short because we don't have the depth and we probably don't have the spine quite yet.
All right. And the last question here, this is quite a bit of your unbiased top 4 and relegation predictions for the season. Unbiased, sir.
Unbiased. It's all biased. Well, you want mine? I'm going to do, I think City's going to win, then the Scouts Bastards, then us. And then just to be cheeky,
relegation?
Gunners. Well, they wanted 4th. I say Chelsea drops out because Sabre Frank's going to get canned. Relegation, I think Fulham gets relegated. I think West Brom gets relegated. And I think Leeds Scum get relegated. They're not going to get relegated. I think they're going to
all 3 teams coming up are going to go down? That's a bold prediction.
No, I don't think Leeds are going to get relegated. I think it's going to be West Ham.
All right.
Who you got?
Top 4.
In order.
I can't. The problem is I just don't want to. I don't want the words to come out of my mouth.
Well, you have to.
So, I'm unbiased. Manchester United win the title, sir. Manchester United.
Unbiased.
Manchester United. That's as unbiased
21,
as I get.
baby. Number 21.
21 times, baby. It's not over.
Walk on.
Come on, man. The season hasn't even started.
I know,
We're
it's
winning.
true.
I'm not giving up on winning the league. You call yourself a Manchester United fan?
I'm just saying, realistically,
Manchester
baby.
United,
Unbiased.
number 1.
Unbiased.
Manchester United, number 1. Number 2, Arsenal. Number 3. Number 3, Brighton. Number 4, Burnley. Relegated Liverpool. City and Chelsea.
Well done.
There you go.
There you go, sir. Unbiased.
Absolutely, completely unbiased. I've run the numbers. That's that.
You got to end with that. That's like epic. Unbiased.
All right. At Cassie Sanders on Twitter. Quote, not about MUFC, but Peacock is horrible. What do you make of Peacock?
Well, I don't know why they do this every year. Every year as the sport gets more popular, they make it more difficult to watch. Now it's like I got to hop onto a streaming platform that started lagging. That's the thing. Is like if they're going to make you go onto a streaming platform, better not lag.
No, it
started lagging. And you know when United's on, everyone's watching it. It's going to lag.
Why do I pay for cable so you can like take games away from me, then I have to pay to watch on the line. It's just how many more years of this before you actually just pay people online? And it's just one of those things where it sucked at NBC Sports Gold. It sucks at Peacock. I'm not surprised.
They would never get away with this shit in the UK.
No,
they could never do this in the UK.
I
think all the games in September are free in the UK, and now like they just do this in America. They nickel and dime people like fans in America every chance they get. I'm telling you, there was no way they'd have Peacock in the UK. People would riot, bro.
FA Cup, Champions League,
BR Live.
So I gotta pay for
Plus.
I gotta pay for cable. I gotta pay for Peacock, not Peacock, Peacock Premium. Then I gotta pay for like BR Live. They all have a different price. They're all different. It's different apps. They're all terrible. 9 apps on my phone. Just pay Manchester. I mean, like realistically, you should just pay United. They shouldn't sell the right. It's tough. They shouldn't sell the digital rights. They can give the cable rights to NBC and then sell the digital so you can all watch on your phone. Next tweet at ant_Triola. Quote, I just saw Mbappe wanted to leave PSG after this year. Any chance Manchester United could be in the running to sign him? Sir, what do you think of that? Mbappe.
Well, maybe if we miss out on Sancho, then yes, maybe.
No, we're broke. Unfortunately, we don't have the
money. If he's leaving on a free, he's not moving this year. He said he's leaving for free next year.
No, would it be a free next year?
Yeah, apparently he's like he wants to leave next year for free.
Well, if you if you were Mbappe and you could go anywhere, where would you go?
Not Manchester United probably at the moment.
Yeah, I just don't think the rest of the footballing world feels the same way about Manchester United that we do.
He's going to go to Madrid. I mean, unfortunately, they know Ed Woodward's in charge. Like even the people who aren't fans, they're just like fans of football. They know we're not being run well at the moment.
No, not at all. And then probably the best question to end on at Rolling Deep 1995. We haven't really talked about it. Quote, how are you feeling about the season opener? Will we be able to steal any signs for Palace? Two good questions, sir. We'll obviously get to that in greater detail. The pod we drop Tuesday or Wednesday. But what do you think about the season? How are you feeling? It's like football's here, but it's like United aren't playing, so I didn't really care for it. Like Tottenham failing against Everton didn't really. Even watching Leeds Liverpool, don't really care.
I mean, I enjoyed it because it's been tough. It's been tough personally and locally, just like the last couple of weeks. So having the distraction was awesome. But I get what you mean. It's a different level of commitment and buy-in when it's not your team, right? Like watching these teams play today doesn't really matter over the weekend. But when United's playing and we're playing Palace, it's going to mean the world. So I'm excited. I can't wait. United's back next weekend. Palace, they started with a win, so we got to just knock them back down to earth.
Who's your center back pairing, Crystal Palace?
I don't know what the deal is with Lindelof, but I would assume it's going to be Maguire and Lindelof.
All right. Any signings for Palace?
No.
Yeah, I would say no. We're not doing any. I mean, no business. They're dragging. It's going to be ugly again. We're dying. We need. We need reinforcements. Small ball. Sorry, I said it. We need to be playing small ball. Get them in. Get them done. Eddie just likes to wait to the last day, and even Bruno almost didn't come off, and it almost came off too late. Like if we had Bruno 4 weeks earlier, we'd have been that much better off. I think there's a cost to just drag in the window. It's just like you get your business done early. Don't you get your business done early?
No, the big mistake is, I understand. I can justify going all in for Sancho. The big game, small game thing. We talked about at the beginning of the pod. It makes sense to me. What you don't want to do is you want to burn all window, go after Sancho, lose out in Sancho, and then have no time to do any small ball deals.
Josh King, Igala, where are we at?
Right, exactly.
Like
Willian going for free, right? Gabrielle for £22 million looks a player. It's just like... That's the real fear is we lose Sancho and you got nobody else and you're just like signing Fellaini in the last minute for overpriced.
I know. There you go. All right. That is the podcast. Again, it's been a marathon one. We went through everything with the survey. We didn't pick the winner. We have to pick the survey winner, sir. That's the one thing we missed. All right. Lucas, you have won. We'll be reaching out to you via email. We're going to get you a kit and size of your choice player that you want. We'll contact you via the email that you used to sign up. So again, thank you to everyone who signed up. We got the winner.
Thank you, Lucas. You top red. There are 255 applicants, and you got it. So appreciate you. Let us know. We'll be emailing with you. You can get that zebra kit if you want it.
Yeah. Don't never go full zebra. All right, housekeeping. Pods for fans, by fans. Support the pod. Check out our online store, www.americanreddevils.com. Write a review, sir. We got some top downloads the last 7 days. Hit us up.
Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? Dublin, Ireland. Appreciate it. Number 2, London, United Kingdom. Where else? Not London, Texas. Waco, Texas. Number 4, Santa Ana, California. Sterling, Virginia. Number 6, Orlando, Florida. Loveland, Ohio. O'Fallon, Missouri. Richmond, Virginia. And last but not least, Decatur, Georgia. Thank you, everybody. Decatur, Georgia. Appreciate all the downloads. Appreciate all the American Red Devils listening around the globe.
Dublin, have a dark ale.
Why not? Have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Have to. Best fans. Appreciate all you fans all around the world, guys. Sorry, now you're just going off.
Absolutely love it, sir. It's been a real podcast. How good does it feel? Oh, no, we're not doing that, sir. We're we're doing the
Kick it up low.
Sir, it's been a real podcast. We're rusty. It's preseason, sir.
We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice.
Preseason pod. How does it feel?
No, kick it up low.
Kick it up low.